Okay, here we go. So as usual, we'll start with the hands, and these just masterpiece up in the way that we all know and love. Open the flap, roll them back in, and close the flap. Then you need to line the arms up and just squash these together. There is a little tab on the underside there, and that'll just click into place. Do the same on the other side. Untab the backpack, and also you need to bring this flap at the back of the head up. Round at the side of the upper body, you need to unclick these pieces from the side and just loosen that up. Next up, these pins here are going to move backwards. So once you've loosened everything up, you should be able to lift that top section up and over the head, and you'll have it end up looking like this. Round at the back with this section, you need to move it out, and what you're going to do is take these and collapse them into there. Now there is a bit of a clearance between this side panel here and the upper body. So I think the easiest way is if you bring it up on this hinge carefully on that one, then you can turn this outwards facing like that, and that should allow you the clearance to then roll it back on this inner hinge all the way around. Otherwise you just get this piece pushing up against that body there. So same again on this side. Use the lower hinge here, the one near to the body, to bring this up like that. Then roll this piece around on this hinge so that it's outward facing like this, and then use this hinge again, this side of the hinge again, to bring that whole thing round so that it ends up like that. Next up, you need to have the arms extended out, and that will allow you to rotate those backwards. It's quite a stiff connection, this one, so just be careful. Same again on the other side. Extend this outwards and then twist that so that it's back that way. And then you can just kind of move up to the arms again, and you're just going to collapse them. You can see there's space inside here for these to just push up into what was the bot arm. Same on this side as well. Just bring those together. There we go. Next up, we're going to take this section and it's going to come upwards, and it's kind of just tensioned together, but you just need to work your way up with it like that. Angle it forward slightly, and then this section here, you can see there's a flap and then a hinge on the inner side. Lift that up, pull this out, and just extend it upwards. Next up, you're going to take this section and turn it 90 degrees that way. Bring that down, and then hold on to this and turn the head part, the tank bit, so that it's facing out that way. Next up, this silver section that was the backpack is going to come up through this hole now, and by moving these things round like that, you've just created clearance for you to do it. And there is a certain angle that you need to do this, so sometimes if you try it first and it's just knocking against that, don't force it through. There's no need to force it. It's just a case of angling this armature here in the right way, and it will just roll through dead easy. And then once you've done that, this silver section is going to come back over here and it will close up. We'll do that in a sec, but that's basically the back of the tank kind of sorted. Next up, you need to come back to the front, rotate the turret this way this time so it's facing that piece, and then you're going to turn all of that section so that it's like that. Next up, if we do the head, so you're not going to turn the head itself, it's actually this section here is going to turn. So hold on to that and turn. It might be a bit stiff that to do, but it does work. Bring it all back, and then you can see now that this whole section is going to collapse down to close off the top like that. Next up, this triangular section here, you're going to rotate on this hinge and bring that flap out, and then there's another flap on the inside there. It's very difficult to get to. You need to bring that out as well. So it'll go there, and just leave it like that. On the back of the legs there is a small hinged piece here, and you just need to loosen that up, rock it up, and that will untab the knees so that they bend outwards. And if you go ahead and do that, turn it out this way, and then just close that back up again. Coming around to the underside, this whole section here that's tabbed on there, you're going to lift that out, untab it, bring it round 180 degrees and move this flap out of the way. Then you're going to take this silver section, the treads, and you're going to carefully turn them 180 degrees. So you end up with it like this. Next up, you're going to basically turn this whole lower knee around 180 degrees. So you need to hold on to this part here because this is going to do the turning, but you don't want any of this stuff to move. So hold on to that there and give yourself enough clearance and bring it around 180 degrees. So you end up with the foot pointing up this way. Next, you're going to make sure this flap is down over the treads, and you're going to bring the treads up to here. Now the next part basically involves closing this off on here, but you need to make sure all of this is flush before you do it, otherwise it just won't stretch up far enough. So it's just a case of getting these hinges maneuvered into the gap, and that will allow you to close that off. Moving back around to the feet, this piece here is going to roll back under the foot like that. Then you're going to take this whole section, the whole foot, and it will, with a little bit of a wiggle, come out. Don't just yank that out because of all the tightness. Just do it very carefully. Then you're going to take the tread and you're going to pop it out like this. Then take the whole of the foot, slowly rock it around on its creaky joint, and line it up so that that tab inside there is going to go into that slot. Then, very carefully, you're going to maneuver that into place. And good luck to you with the treads. If you can get those to work in, you deserve a pat on the back. Mine just don't for some reason. So once you've done that on both legs, there is just one more little flap that you need to lift and close over on each leg. And then this is the configuration that you kind of need for the next section, something like this. And have these all nice and square, because what these are going to do is close round to make the tank. Now up here there is another section that you're going to release. There are two tabs between this silver bit and this silver bit, one on each side, and you need to release those. That's one, and that's the other. And then you've got something that looks like that. So it looks a bit of a mess, but we're kind of getting there. So once you've released that, you're going to take this section, all of that, and on that hinge just bring it back round, and then you can start to see actually how the tank is going to fold up. So bring that down, and what we're going to do is we're going to get this tab to go into that slot there, and I think there's another one here that's going to go into that gap there. And then also there is one here that's going to go into that one there. So line it up so that those things can happen, and then just carefully close that round. And I like to just have it sat there first before I squeeze things together. So same thing on this side. Make sure that this back section is going to go over that silver piece, and you're going to bring it round like this. So there you go. Now before you go and start pushing things together, you might just want to double check that the tabs are lining up where they should. And if you're finding that they're not when you're doing this, just bring this back out and just rotate these legs and get them square. So it's these bits that are going to allow these things to line up. So once you've done that, you can go ahead and push these in together. So just check at the top there as well. So that's gone in. Coming back round to the top, just make sure that this section is connected in as well, and that should be relatively easy to do. Yeah, there's just a couple of tabs there. So same on the other side. Once you've got everything lined up where it needs to be, you can go ahead and squish stuff together gently. There we go. Finally, this flap at the front you can bring down, and you can see there's two slots there for that to go into, like that. So lastly, we're just going to sort out the back section. I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but you need to make sure that these tabs on the arms are sitting in the hollow of this section, so that this is all square at the back. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to rock all of this onto here, and you need to make sure that these arms are pointing up like this, because they will end up facing backwards, so they're going to go up and over. You need to have this red tab in the middle out, because that's going to slide into the front, into this hollow in here. And also this silver flap needs to be forward as well. That's just going to cover off underneath the neck of the tank. And before we do this, I just want to mention as well, it's a big flaw actually in the engineering. These tabs here, which are the back of the fists, are going to clamp onto a metal tab here. And when you do it, don't just jam it in. It's going to click when it goes in. I don't think there's any way of avoiding it, but don't jam it. Try and just give it a little lift over that ridge if you can. So once all of that's in place, you're just going to maneuver these forward, and it's an intuitive maneuver, but it's just some squeezing and kind of shuffling stuff forward. Do this side first. There we go, so that's just slotted onto there. Move around to this side. And that's just slotted onto there as well. So then we've just got this silver piece to bring down, and there are 6 tabs here and 6 tabs there and 6 slots on the inside there, and you're just going to close those off on each other. Now they don't always line up straight away, so it might be that you just need to either move this silver thing backwards or forward a bit until you get the right alignment, but it does slot in once you get there. There we go. Then these red flaps that are on the back here, bring these out and close them over the gaps there. Tighten that up. Bring the turret back and extend the turret, and there we go.